He was just a janitor, quiet, invisible, and often ignored. No one knew he once had a dream, a gift, and a past filled with music. But when the single dad was asked to play the piano as a joke during a company gala, what he played next didn't just silence the room. It made even the CEO tear up. Before we begin this heart-touching story, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Folktales for more inspiring and emotional stories. Tell us in the comments where you're watching from. We love hearing your stories of kindness and hope from around the world. It was a Friday evening, and the glass walls of the luxury corporate building shimmered with golden light. The annual gala was in full swing. Laughter, music, and the clinking of glasses filled the air. In the corner, quietly mopping the marble floor, was Reid, a middle-aged janitor with tired eyes and a calm smile. To most people in that room, he was invisible, just part of the background. But inside him lived a silence that carried the weight of melodies long forgotten. Daniel had once been a pianist, not famous, but passionate. Years ago, he had played small gigs at cafes and weddings, dreaming of stages and orchestras. But when his wife passed away unexpectedly, he left everything behind to raise their little daughter Sophie on his own. Music became a memory, something he hummed softly while cleaning classrooms or walking her to school. He never spoke of it to anyone at work. That night, one of the company's managers, slightly tipsy and arrogant, noticed the grand piano sitting untouched near the stage. "Hey, Dan," he said mockingly. "You look like a guy who could use some fun. Why don't you play something for us?" The crowd chuckled, expecting a clumsy mess, a bit of harmless entertainment at the janitor's expense. Daniel froze, unsure whether to walk away or smile it off, but something in him whispered, "It's okay. Just play." He placed the mop aside, slowly walked to the piano, and sat down. His hands trembled at first as they brushed against the cool keys. The laughter around him faded into a hush of curiosity. The CEO herself turned from her table to see what was happening. Daniel took a deep breath and began to play. The first notes were soft, hesitant, like memories waking from a long sleep. Then, as if the piano itself remembered him, his fingers flowed with grace and power. The melody was something he had written years ago for his late wife, a song called Her Light. It rose and fell like a heartbeat, full of sorrow and love intertwined. Conversations stopped. Glasses lowered. The entire hall grew still, captured by the music's honesty. Tears welled in the eyes of listeners who moments ago were laughing at him. Even the CEO, a woman known for her composure, pressed her hand to her heart. Daniel played with everything he had. Every moment of loss, every night he'd stayed up singing Sophie to sleep, every dream he had buried beneath years of work. The song didn't just echo, it healed. When the final note faded, the silence was almost sacred. Then came the sound of applause, not polite but thunderous and real. People stood clapping, some wiping away tears. Daniel looked down, embarrassed, as if he had done something wrong. But then the CEO approached him slowly, eyes glistening, and said softly, "That was the most beautiful thing I've heard in years." The crowd parted as she spoke. "Mr. Reid," she continued, "why are you cleaning floors when you should be sharing your gift?" He didn't know what to say. He looked up and saw Sophie at the back of the room. One of the waiters had let her in. She was smiling proudly, eyes bright. "Because," he said finally, "I promised my daughter I'd always keep the lights on for her. Music doesn't pay bills." The CEO knelt slightly, meeting Sophie's eyes. "Then maybe it's time we help you do both." The company soon arranged for Daniel to lead their new employee wellness program, using music to teach mindfulness and healing. Within months, he was inspiring not only workers but entire communities with his gift, and always with Sophie by his side. Years later, when people spoke of that night, they didn't remember the fancy suits or the speeches. They remembered the janitor who made the world stop and listen, and the little girl who reminded him why he had to play again.